Is Anfield bracing for a record-breaking transformation or a tactical meltdown? From the ice-cold goodbye that signals a £125 million PSG arrival to the gaffer warns that we are not perfect yet and a hero is allegedly pushing for a shock North London exit, the Iraola revolution is hitting a massive crossroads and we've got the full truth behind the chaos. Stay with us until the end as we break down every major Liverpool update. This is Anfield Central.
Iraola unfiltered, the not perfect warning after Como win and Newcastle prep. Can a 2-0 victory over Italian newcomers Como really signal that the Reds are ready for the vertical, high-octane intensity of a proper Premier League campaign? It's the question the gaffer was forced to address under the lights at Anfield this weekend, and his response was as ice-cold as the Mersey in January. While the supporters were cheering a clean sheet and a winning end to the pre-season schedule, Andoni Iraola was busy spotting the cracks in a performance that he point-blank refused to call a finished article. We've seen enough pre-season false dawns over the years to know that winning a friendly is one thing, but surviving a trip to St James's Park next weekend is an entirely different kettle of fish. Is this side actually a proper title-contending unit yet, or are we still just a work in progress with too many loose ends? The backstory to this post-match honesty is a pre-season that has been as much about tactical unlearning as it has been about fitness. Before now, the squad was used to a specific rhythm, but Iraola has been ruthlessly demanding a different type of commitment, particularly when we haven't got the ball. The victory over Como, secured by first-half goals from Cody Gakpo and the exciting debutant Jeremy Jacquet, was the final act of a long summer of preparation. It followed a goalless draw at the AXA training centre earlier that afternoon, proving that the gaffer is pushing these lads to their absolute physical limits with double-header fixtures just to see who has the bottle for his system. The conflict lies in the glaring disparity between our first-half dominance and the second-half drop-off that seems to be haunting this squad.
Iraola was quick to point out that while the organisation and composure were there to see out the 2-0 win, the second half was a bit rubbish compared to the opening 45 minutes. The tactical obstacle here is consistency. The gaffer is asking for a level of concentration that doesn't waver even when the legs are heavy and the lungs are burning. He's admitted that while everyone understands the plan, the execution is still not perfect, which creates a massive tension as we head into a proper squeaky bum time opener away at Newcastle. Looking at the facts, the 2-0 win saw Cody Gakpo continue his fine form, while young Jeremy Jacquet enjoyed a dream debut with a goal in front of the Kop. Iraola noted that most of the squad managed to log 80 to 90 minutes without cramps or major setbacks, which is a massive tick in the box for the medical staff. The gaffer's focus now turns to building the fitness levels and sharpening the mentality so the big mistakes don't creep in during the second half of matches. With the pre-season schedule officially complete, the Reds are now 100% focused on that daunting trip to the northeast on the 23rd of August. In my honest take, Iraola is right to be tetchy. Winning friendlies is a nice feeling, but we've seen too many lapses in focus when the intensity ramps up. The fact that the first halves are consistently better than the second tells me the squad still hasn't fully mastered the Iraola way of playing for 90 minutes. Jacquet looks like a proper player, but we cannot afford to be not perfect against a side like Newcastle. The gaffer is clearly managing expectations, but he needs this side to click, and fast. My question for the comments today is Iraola right to be worried about our second half fade-outs, or is he just being overly perfectionist?
The Gakpo twist. Why Spurs want the incredibly smart Scouser and Liverpool's refusal. Is one of our incredibly smart stars about to pull a disappearing act just as he looks to be hitting his peak in the kit? It's the sensational transfer twist currently rocking the Anfield persuasion tonight, as the saga of Cody Gakpo and Tottenham Hotspur takes another massive turn. We've heard for weeks that the North London club are sniffing around, but the news that the players' representatives have supposedly agreed terms in principle has sent a jolt through the fan base.
Gakpo has been a visionary part of the attack since arriving, and after a goal and assist against Como, many fans think selling him now would be absolute rubbish business. Is he genuinely looking for the exit door, or is this just a tactical play from the Spurs hierarchy? The backstory to this particular drama is a summer that has seen Gakpo mooted as a potential sacrifice for weeks. Before now, the Dutchman was considered an integral squad player, dubbed incredibly smart by none other than Jurgen Klopp during their time together. However, journalist Graham Bailey is reporting that Gakpo has supposedly told the club he doesn't see his long-term future at Anfield and is desperate for the chance to join the project at Spurs. It's a proper before versus now contrast. Only months ago, he was a key cog in the machine, but now he might be the man used to balance the hard arithmetic of a massive summer rebuild. The conflict is a proper standoff between what the player wants and what the gaffer needs. While Gakpo might be tempted by the bright lights of London, fellow journalist Pete O'Rourke insists that Liverpool simply can't afford to let him go.
The tactical obstacle is our glaring lack of depth in wide areas. Unless the recruitment team has two world-class wingers already through the doors, selling a player with Gakpo's versatility would be a needless risk so close to the season opener. We are stuck in a drama where the player's position is clear, but the club's stance is a firm refusal to leave the gaffer short of attacking firepower. Looking at the facts, Gakpo proved his worth just this Sunday by scoring and assisting in the 2-0 victory over Como, showing he is a proper player who still has plenty to offer. Despite the agreement in principle with Spurs' reps, Pete O'Rourke reports that Liverpool have given the Londoners not a lot of encouragement that a deal is on the cards. The Reds are currently linked with Bradley Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye from PSG, but even if that £164 million double raid comes off, insiders believe Gakpo is still needed for a grueling forefront campaign. In my honest take, letting Gakpo go would be a proper mistake. He's technically secure, tactically flexible, and he's just proven he can still produce the goods under Iraola. Spurs are clearly trying to hijack our momentum, but unless they come back with a mental fee north of £70 million, I'd be telling them to jog on. We need ready-made winners in this squad, not more gaps to fill. But what do you lot think? Should we cash in on Gakpo to fund the Barcola deal, or is he far too incredibly smart to lose to a rival?
The Bezos boost, Barcola's £125 million green light, and Luis Enrique's ice-cold exit message. Has the gaffer finally found his marquee man, or did Luis Enrique just deliver the coldest goodbye in the history of the transfer window? It is the billion-pound question currently dominating the transfer hub as the pursuit of Bradley Barcola reaches a monumental tipping point. We've heard the whispers for months, but the news that the PSG boss has effectively waved farewell to both Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye has sent the Anfield persuasion into a proper frenzy. When a manager like Enrique starts talking about finding another solution for players who aren't smiling, you know the writing is on the wall. Is this the visionary signing that finally takes the Iraola era to the next level? The backstory here is a high-stakes standoff with the European champions that has been going on all summer. Before now, striking a deal for the 23-year-old Frenchman was seen as nearly impossible, with PSG holding out for a staggering €150 million, £128 million. However, the context has shifted because the Parisians have been busy adding Ferran Torres and Mika Godz to an attack that is now chock full of talent. This before versus now contrast, where Barcola was once untouchable but now is surplus of requirements, has opened a massive window of opportunity for Richard Hughes to strike. The drama peaked on Sunday when Luis Enrique dropped an ice-cold response to questions about Barcola's future, simply saying thank you, goodbye, before walking out of his press conference. Both Barcola and Mbaye were left out of the matchday squad for PSG's defeat to Lens, a telling admission that they are no longer part of the plan in Paris.
The conflict for Liverpool was the hard arithmetic of the transfer fee, but that tension has sensationally been eased by the cash injection from the Jeff Bezos-led consortium, which now owns 30% of the club. This Bezos boost means the Reds are now ready to match the £125 million British record fee to get their man through the door. Looking at the facts, sources now believe it is a question of when, not if, Barcola moves to Anfield. PSG are understood to be ready to green-light the sale for around £125 million, which would equal the record fee paid for Alexander Isak last summer. Luis Enrique's public comments about wanting players who love playing for PSG and his subsequent ice-cold exit from the media room suggest the deal is effectively done. Liverpool are also reportedly interested in an audacious £164 million double raid that would bring both Barcola and 16-year-old sensation Ibrahim Mbaye to Merseyside. My honest take, this Bezos-led investment is a proper game-changer for our ambitions. Landing a phenomenon like Barcola for £125 million is visionary business, even if the price tag sounds mental. He brings the fear factor back to our right wing that we've been sorely lacking since some of the older guard moved on. Enrique's thank you goodbye is the clearest transfer hint you'll ever get. We must move ruthlessly now to ensure he's in the kit before we face Newcastle. But tell me, is Barcola worth matching the British transfer record, or should we be looking for better value elsewhere?